Alexander the Great, one of history's most illustrious figures, carved an indelible mark on the world. Born in 356 BCE in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia, he was destined for greatness from an early age. His life, characterized by relentless ambition, unmatched military prowess, and a vision of a unified world, left an enduring legacy that has been the subject of study and admiration for centuries. Alexander III of Macedon, known to history as Alexander the Great, was born to King Philip II and Queen Olympias. His birth was surrounded by legends and prophecies, with some accounts claiming that his mother was impregnated by Zeus, the king of the gods. Regardless of these myths, Alexander's lineage was undeniably prestigious, with his father being a powerful ruler and his mother descending from the royal house of Epirus. At the age of 13, Alexander was tutored by the renowned philosopher Aristotle. This period of education profoundly influenced his intellectual development and philosophical outlook. Aristotle instilled in Alexander a love for knowledge, science, medicine, and literature, and encouraged him to pursue a vision of a cosmopolitan world where Greek culture would flourish. Alexander's education was not confined to intellectual pursuits. He received rigorous military training from an early age, learning the arts of war and leadership. His first notable military engagement came at the age of 16, when he was left in charge of Macedonia during Philip's campaign against Byzantium. In his father's absence, Alexander quelled a rebellion by the Maedi tribe, founding a city named Alexandropolis in the process. In 336 BCE, Philip II was assassinated under mysterious circumstances, and Alexander ascended to the throne of Macedonia at the age of 20. His accession was not without challenges. He had to secure his position by eliminating potential rivals and stabilizing his father's legacy. Alexander swiftly dealt with any dissent and secured the loyalty of the Macedonian army, which would become the cornerstone of his future conquests. Upon securing the throne, Alexander embarked on a campaign to consolidate his power within Greece. He reasserted Macedonian dominance over the Greek city-states and secured their allegiance through the League of Corinth, which Philip had established. This league was instrumental in providing Alexander with the necessary support and legitimacy for his upcoming campaign against the Persian Empire. In 334 BCE, Alexander set out to fulfill his father's ambition of conquering the Persian Empire. He crossed the Hellespont, modern-day Dardanelles, with an army of approximately 35,000 men, marking the beginning of his legendary campaign. His first significant battle occurred at the Granicus River, where he achieved a decisive victory over the Persian satraps, opening the gateway to Asia Minor. In 333 BCE, Alexander faced the Persian king Darius III at the Battle of Issus. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Alexander's tactical genius and the discipline of his troops secured a monumental victory. Darius fled the battlefield, leaving behind his family and vast treasures. This victory solidified Alexander's reputation as an invincible commander and gave him control over the Western Persian Empire. Continuing his campaign, Alexander faced the formidable task of besieging the island city of Tyre in 332 BCE. After 7 months of intense and innovative siege warfare, Alexander captured Tyre, demonstrating his determination and military ingenuity. He then moved south to Gaza, which also fell after a brutal siege. These victories secured Alexander's control over the eastern Mediterranean coast. In 332 BCE, Alexander entered Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptians, discontented with Persian rule, offered little resistance. In the city of Memphis, Alexander was proclaimed the son of the god Amun, a title that bolstered his divine status among his followers. He founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a major center of Hellenistic culture and learning. The decisive confrontation between Alexander and Darius III took place at the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE. Darius assembled a vast army to crush Alexander, but the Macedonian king's superior tactics and the discipline of his troops led to a crushing victory. Darius once again fled, and Alexander proclaimed himself the king of Asia. After Gaugamela, Alexander marched on the Persian capitals. He entered Babylon without resistance and then moved to Susa, where he seized immense treasures. In early 330 BCE, he arrived at Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Persian Empire. Alexander allowed his troops to loot the city as a reward, and in a symbolic act of vengeance for the Persian invasion of Greece, he ordered the burning of the royal palace. Alexander continued his pursuit of Darius, who was eventually betrayed and murdered by his own satrap, Bessus. With Darius's death, Alexander assumed the title of the Great King of Persia. He then embarked on a campaign to subdue the eastern provinces of the former Persian Empire, including modern-day Afghanistan and Central Asia, demonstrating his relentless ambition to consolidate and expand his empire. Alexander faced significant resistance in the eastern provinces, particularly in Sogdiana and Bactria. The rugged terrain and the fierce local resistance tested his military prowess. One notable episode was the siege of the Sogdian Rock, a seemingly impregnable fortress. Alexander's forces scaled the cliffs and captured the fortress, demonstrating his persistence and tactical ingenuity. In an effort to consolidate his rule over the eastern provinces, Alexander married Roxana, the daughter of a Bactrian noble. This marriage was both a political and personal union, aimed at integrating the local nobility into his empire and securing loyalty through kinship. In 327 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hindu Kush mountains and entered the Indian subcontinent. His army faced formidable resistance from the local rulers, particularly King Porus, who commanded a large force that included war elephants. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River in 326 BCE, Alexander achieved a hard-fought victory. Impressed by Porus's bravery and leadership, he reinstated him as a satrap, incorporating his kingdom into the Macedonian Empire. Alexander's campaign in India was marked by relentless battles and harsh conditions. When his army reached the Hyphasis River, modern-day Beas River, the soldiers, exhausted and longing for home, mutinied and refused to march further east. Realizing the limits of his men's endurance, Alexander reluctantly agreed to turn back. The return journey to Babylon was arduous. Alexander led his army through the harsh Gedrosian desert, where they faced extreme heat, scarcity of water, and devastating losses. This march demonstrated both Alexander's determination and the harsh realities of his campaigns. Upon his return to Babylon in 324 BCE, Alexander focused on consolidating and governing his vast empire. He implemented policies aimed at integrating the diverse cultures within his realm, promoting the fusion of Greek and local customs. He encouraged marriages between his soldiers and local women, and recruited Persian nobles into his administration and army, fostering a sense of unity and cooperation. In 324 BCE, Alexander faced a personal tragedy with the death of his close friend and confidant, Hephaestion. The loss deeply affected him, leading to a period of profound mourning. Hephaestion's death highlighted the intense bonds of friendship and loyalty that characterized Alexander's inner circle. Despite his conquests, Alexander's ambition remained unquenched. He began planning new campaigns, including an invasion of Arabia. His vision of a unified world under his rule continued to drive his actions, but these plans would remain unfulfilled. In June 323 BCE, Alexander fell ill in Babylon. His condition rapidly deteriorated, and despite the best efforts of his physicians, he succumbed to his illness on June 10 or 11, 323 BCE, at the age of 32. The exact cause of his death remains a matter of historical debate, with theories ranging from natural causes to poisoning. Alexander's death left a power vacuum, leading to the fragmentation of his empire. His generals, known as the Diadochi, vied for control, ultimately dividing the empire into several Hellenistic kingdoms. Despite the fragmentation, Alexander's legacy endured through the cultural and political transformations he had initiated. Alexander's conquests facilitated the spread of Greek culture across the known world, initiating the Hellenistic era. This period saw the blending of Greek and local cultures, leading to advancements in art, science, philosophy, and architecture. Cities founded by Alexander, such as Alexandria in Egypt, became centers of learning and cultural exchange. Alexander's military strategies and tactics revolutionized warfare. His use of the phalanx formation, combined with cavalry maneuvers, set new standards for military operations. His campaigns demonstrated the importance of speed, surprise, and psychological warfare, influencing military leaders for centuries to come. Alexander the Great remains a towering figure in history. His life and achievements have been the subject of countless works of literature, art, and historical studies.